Not yet. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Health meeting of August 5th, 2024. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairperson. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29, 2023 signing of the Acts of 2023 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law until March 31st, 2025, this meeting of the Chatham Board of Health is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410. The conference ID number is 406-71711#, or they may join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Channel 8 and 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. And I would like to turn the meeting over to our chairperson, Dr. Noble Hanson.
Thank you. It shall be the policy of this board to conduct its meetings under the open meetings laws so as to encourage public participation whenever time permits and as part of agenda item discussions. Okay, we have two items, but first let's establish a quorum, and as I go down, just say present. Carol Boyce.
Here.
John Beckley.
Present.
Ron Broman. Here. And Noble Hanson, I'm present. So we have a quorum. The first variance is a hearing for Christopher and Susan Wilson, 434 Cockle Cove Road. J.C. Ellis Design Company is the engineer. And do we have someone from Ellis here? You can
Can we use that
stand
one?
up there and just present the variance for us.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Jason Ellis, representing Christopher and Susan Wilson. The Wilsons just purchased this property. It's a 4-bedroom dwelling. It's right on the parking lot down at the end by Cockle Cove. It's an existing 4-bedroom dwelling. It currently is served by a single cesspool. So what we've done is prepared a plan to upgrade the cesspool with a new 1,500-gallon septic tank, a pump chamber, and a leach field, which would accommodate the 4-bedroom dwelling. The lot's very small, and we're looking for several variances. There's really not a lot of real estate there to put a septic system. So we're looking for 4 variances. The first one is a 2-foot variance from the proposed leach field, which is the SAS, to the lot line for parcel 58-17-16, which is the property to the north. 10 feet is required, 8 feet is provided, and 2-foot variance is requested. And the second variance is a 5-foot variance from the proposed leach field to the lot line for parcel 58-13-19, which is the property to the south. 10 feet again is required, 5 feet is provided, and a 5-foot variance is requested. And then we're asking for a 43-foot variance from the proposed leach field to the wetland resource area, which would be the coastal bank, which is to the south of the property, which is adjacent to the Nantucket Sound. 100-foot requirement, 57 feet provided, and a 43-foot variance is requested. And then the last variance is a no reserve area, which generally isn't required on an upgrade, but just for asking for other variances, I usually just ask for it anyhow. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, thank you. So it's converting a cesspool to a standard Title V system, not increasing the number of bedrooms. Already 4, it's okayed for 4 bedrooms. Questions from the board or comments? I ask you one, what are you going to do with the cesspool that's there?
The cesspool will just be filled in place. So the house hasn't been occupied for a number of years. So my presumption is the cesspool will be dry. So what they'll do is they'll just literally just flip the lid open, fill it up with clean sand, compact it, and then be done with it. Just leave it in place.
Okay. Yeah, Ron?
Is this going to be just a summer home, or is it going to be year-round?
Yeah, the house is actually, they're doing some work on it now, but it was in a very advanced stage of disrepair. I don't think it's insulated or anything. The foundation on it is very compromised. Literally only has like 4 cinder blocks holding up 4 corners of it, so there's not a lot there. I would foresee that this probably would come back before you at some point in the future for some kind of construction upgrade or foundation upgrade or maybe whatnot, but I don't think the house is habitable on a year-round basis at this point. I don't think it's insulated. I don't think it certainly doesn't have, windows that are insulated or anything like that, or doors that are insulated, so it's pretty rustic,
It
so.
will not be winter home?
No, I certainly wouldn't want to spend a winter there.
Okay, thank you.
It would be chilly.
New cedar siding, I see.
Yeah, they put new cedar shingles on the outside,
Yeah.
but just, I think, to make it look a little more presentable. But it was looking a little ratty there back in the spring.
Well, it looks pretty straightforward to me, and it's certainly gonna be an improvement on what was there, so it makes perfect sense to me to approve the requests.
I do have, would like to speak on this topic, please.
Mm-hmm.
Name is Mark
who-
Reith.
could-
I'm the,
Could you hold one moment, please?
sure.
You want
Yeah, well, we can ask for public comment,
to do it now? Okay.
but, sure.
Do-
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry, you can go ahead, sir.
Sure. Name is Mark Reith, R-I-E-T-H. I'm the owner of property south-facing that is going to have significant issues with this proposal, 440 Cockle Cove Road. So we actually have the lot line to the south that the gentleman was mentioning there. Not only that, but going into closer to Nantucket Sound, the 43-foot variance is significant. There's been significant beach erosion over that area and will be even more significant. So I have a significant issue with any sort of variance that would go onto my property and towards Nantucket Sound.
okay, so, any comments or other questions from the board?
I just have
Ron?
one question, is it, for the engineer, is there any other way, has he looked at everything? Is there anything else he could do to kind of eliminate some of the,
I mean, the other options is we could resize the leach field and maybe ask for a 25% reduction in the size of the leach field to reduce it. So in essence, we'd be putting a 3-bedroom leach field in, but, it would probably put a little more burden on the leach field, being, 3/4 of the size that's required by code, so it might become overburdened from a treatment standpoint. I mean, there's several different ways that this could be laid out, but you really only have that on one little envelope on that side of the house. You could turn it and twist it, whatever, you're still gonna end up with all the components being generally in the same area. I put the leach field where I did closer to the house just to gain some elevation from the flood zone, which is the parking lot's all in the flood zone, and the east side of the property is all in the flood zones, just so that it wouldn't be inundated if it ever became flooded in a major storm event. But the cesspool itself is just over 50 feet from the top of coastal bank, so we're actually gaining a few feet on the leach field from where the cesspool is now. The lot itself is very stable. There's actually a driveway that runs between my client's southerly lot line and this gentleman's house. So there's like a dirt or gravel driveway that's actually in between there, so the area is very stable. I don't see any of the disturbance that we would be creating by installing the septic system exacerbating any erosion issues, in that area.
Can you clear up, where exactly is the neighbor that's brought up the issue? Which direction from the house is he?
On the south?
He's on the south side? No. Are you still here, Mr.
Yes, yep,
Neighbor?
I'm here, yep.
And
yep.
where is
So
your
I'm-
house located now?
440, I'm right on the water, so I'm in front of, between the property we're talking about right now and Nantucket Sound.
So if you look on my plan, there's actually, if you see where it says parcel 58-13-19,
Yes,
that's his parcel.
okay, it's right here.
So his house is between the water and my client's house.
Yeah, what's the number again? It's 581220?
58-13-19.
Is this
Oh,
the
here, I
house,
see it, okay.
the house that was just built,
So-
rebuilt?
No, that's, the one was just redone was 58-12-20. That's the one that's right on the parking lot.
Gotcha.
So that parcel, is there a grade there, or how would he be impacted by putting a leaching pit on the,
On the back side of it, I don't think he'd be impacted at all.
is there a grade down there, or runoff or something?
It's relatively flat. It slopes up from the parking lot up towards my client's house. And then from my client's house down towards the southwest, towards the coastal beach, it slopes back down again. So my client's house is kind of on a high point, and the abutter's house that's on the line is also kind of on that same kind of high area.
Right.
And so it's all kind of a high area, which is why I put the leach field where I did. It's kind of the highest point on the property there that we could utilize to gain the separation of groundwater and also keep it out of the flood zone, so.
So is this issue from the southerly neighbor come up with you before? Have you already
No,
dealt?
has not.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah, Judy?
I was just gonna say, I mean, from the standpoint of attaining maximum feasible compliance, I think this probably is the best we can do. He's putting a full-size leach field in there, which is great. He's basically shoehorning it in. These variances are just to property lines. They're pretty minor. There won't be any breakout, not changing any grades at all. It's much more environmentally sound than the existing cesspool is, so I don't foresee there being any issues with this system.
Yeah, Ron?
I was wondering if we could hear again what the neighbor feels about this.
Oh, hear from the neighbor as to his exact
where he is.
problem, complaint, issue?
Well, the exact issue and complaint is that, first of all, there is a requested variance to go onto my property, which I don't approve, number one. Number two, the size of the new cesspool is not needed. The size of that house, it shows a 4-bedroom. I believe that the total square footage is around 600 to 800 square feet. It doesn't need that size of a cesspool. So, I don't have my attorney on right now, but I do have the ability to put that in play if need be. But I do not and will not approve of any variance onto my property. No one was reached out to me to have this discussion. All we did was we received something in the mail saying that this meeting was going on today. Nobody reached out to us to have a conversation, like my neighbor did next to me before he rebuilt his house, and we had a great discussion. None of that was done. So, I'm just voicing my opinion as the owner of that property, and I do not agree with it.
Yeah, and this is where you do it. Now, I'd ask Mr. Ellis, are you going to have to go on this abutter's property at all, or be on his property?
No, there's
or-
nothing proposed on the abutter's property. All the work is proposed on my client's property. So no work is to take place on the abutter's property.
Will you have to get on his property with your
No.
trucks to
Nope.
service the,
No,
to do
the driveway
work, or-
comes from the northeast. It comes across the northerly abutter's property, and I believe they have an easement for that. In fact, this abutter, their driveway runs across my client's property. So they have to go, their driveway goes across my client's property, and I had to keep all the components out of his driveway so that we could get the septic system, in the right place. So his driveway actually encumbered trying to get the septic system put in place, because his driveway goes along the east side of my client's property.
That's on the east side. So there's some sort of an easement there, I guess? A driveway
I
easement?
don't know that there is, to be honest with you, so,
Okay.
I didn't find one, but I didn't really look hard for an easement either, so.
So this is the
Judy?
minimum, this is the minimum size system that can, it's a four-bedroom house. It doesn't matter that it's a small house, it's 4 bedrooms, they need to put,
According to our rules.
they need to put a 4-bedroom septic system in
It's
there.
currently a 4-bedroom house,
This is the floor plan that was submitted.
That's now, yeah.
It's 2 levels.
because it says proposed dwelling.
One says
No,
existing.
existing conditions. It doesn't say proposed.
No, in,
Oh, yeah, that's probably my, me with my, yeah, it's not. It's an existing dwelling.
Right.
That's my typo. I apologize for that. No additional flow is proposed, so it's an existing 4-bedroom dwelling.
how big is the lot?
The,
What-
it's tiny.
what's the
It's
lot size?
4,000 square feet. It's tiny, so. But we can't take away someone's use of their property. It's an existing house, and they have the right to put a new septic system in there. And a variance is not unusual in these circumstances, and it's up to the board. We don't need to get permission from the abutters.
And we certainly have an interest in someone upgrading from a cesspool to a Title V system, generally.
Correct, yeah.
Well, it's required, it's not just an interest, your regulations require it, so,
Because,
of the transfer of the property.
oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah, it's considered a failed system
okay.
at
This is
transfer.
pretty routine then.
At time
in
of
that-
transfer.
In that respect.
Yes.
I didn't know, yeah.
The whole point is to, before these types of properties change hands, we get them upgraded to
Right.
a better system.
Right. Okay, well, that's even more reason that we would approve this, I think, is because it's the transfer and it's required. And the other question is, and you've already answered it, is there a place where you can put the leaching field which would have less impact on the variances you're requesting? And the answer is no. So other questions or comments? Or any
just
further
one other
response from the
que-
abutter? Yes, go ahead.
One other quick question would be, was any of this, or is it needed to be approved by the coastal, which anything that I've ever done on my property, whether or not it's on the beach side or it's on above, has always had to get approval from environmental and coastal engineer and the coastal side. So I don't know
Conservation.
if that was conservation, thank you.
Jason?
Yeah, we're due to go to conservation in like a week and a half, I think the week after next. We have an RDA
Okay.
filed with conservation, so.
And to the abutter, is there any, do you have any further question on whether they'll need to be on your property to do this? Because you had mentioned that before, but pretty clearly, the engineer has said that he will not have to be on your property.
Well, that's something we'll have to take offline, because I don't agree with that, and so we're gonna have to, I'll have to readdress that, and, I think.
May I ask, in what sense don't you agree with it, just for our information?
Well, this is what I was told when I shared the information with my counsel. So that's, I decided to be on the call today. So, all I'm doing is trying to relay the information that was told to me. If it wasn't a big deal, I wouldn't be on the call today.
Sure.
Well, more important things to do. Obviously, it's important for me to voice my opinion with it, and we'll just have to take it from here. You have to make your decision. I don't agree with that based on the information I received. And there is going to be, unfortunately, there is issue with, actually using property or the variance going onto my property. So that was the biggest issue, and one that I'll have to address at a later date. But you have to make your decisions now.
I think what we don't understand is the variance going onto your property. That's what I don't understand.
They're required to have 10 feet from the property line, they're going to have 5, so they're, and that's,
Correct.
They're not onto his property.
that won't go on his property, that's just the dig will be 5 feet from his property line as opposed to 10. And that's pretty common.
So less far away from his property line.
Right.
Okay, other questions or comments, or?
Sorry.
This is going in front of the conservation group also?
Correct.
Yeah, like just what, before it's.
In a week and a half, he said it's on their agenda. I will go over the plan with them, but they're usually pretty straightforward with these. When someone's upgrading, they may make some requirements for protecting runoff and such during construction and replanting and such, but there isn't too much they can do.
This is a tough one, though.
Right, but it is a transfer of property, and then
Yeah, I
as
know.
part of the transfer, that's how the rules are written, I think, as well. So does somebody entertain a motion?
I will move that we approve the proposal, including the two variances that are referenced in Judy's memo of July 31st regarding to the property line setback and the setback from the wetlands. So I'm fine with it.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Carol will second. Okay, and then before we take a vote, Judy, can you read the conditions?
Yep, the applicant should restrict this property to a maximum of 4 bedrooms and record the restriction on the deed at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. The applicant shall submit a copy of the executed deed restriction to the Board of Health. The engineer shall submit an engineered as-built plan, including as-built elevations with a written certification that the system has been installed in accordance with the approved plan, and no alteration to the floor plans of the dwelling will be allowed without further review by the Board of Health or its agent.
Okay, and then we can take a roll call vote on this one. When I call your name, say whether you're in favor. Carol Boyce,
Yes.
John Beckley,
Yes,
Ron Broman,
Yes.
and Noble Hanson, I say yes. So that variance is granted.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next variance on the schedule is hearing and approval of IA Technology for Francis and Elizabeth Tatalo, 30 Wacquasit Way, Ryder and Wilcox. And we have Stephanie Sequin to present the
Yep.
variance.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. Stephanie Sequin with Ryder and Wilcox, representing Fran and Betsy DiTalo. They are the owners of the property at 30 Wacquasit Way. And currently, there is a two-bedroom home that was constructed in somewhere around 2020, I believe. It's located on a lot that has little over 21,000 square feet. And we're proposing to expand the existing leaching system to have a capacity to allow a third bedroom and replace the existing standard septic tank with a new microfast septic tank in order to accommodate the IA technology. I'm sure you're familiar with the microfast, does have DEP approval for nitrogen reduction. But due to your nitrogen loading regulations, which say no lot shall receive more than 440 gallons per day per 40,000 square feet of lot area, we are requesting a variance to allow the equivalent of 660 gallons per day per 40,000 square feet, or basically 3 bedrooms on a lot with less than 30,000 square feet, but with the condition that we provide the IA technology to reduce the nitrogen.
Can I just,
Yes.
this is a Zone 2 of a public water supply, so they would be required to do this even without our regulations, so.
be required to upgrade to IA?
To put IA in order to add a third bedroom,
Oh,
yes.
But without a Title V variance, just
Right.
a Chatham Board of Health
We still
variance.
require approval from the board. They can do it with straight Title V approval.
I think there's a typo in your cover memo on
Yeah.
the third paragraph from the top.
They're going to 3 bedrooms, yes.
Right, 4 is a mistake, we want it to be 3.
I'm not good.
Okay, so it's a variance to allow 1 extra bedroom converting from a Title V system to IA technology on a 7,900 square foot lot. Any questions or comments from the board? Ron?
Yeah, didn't we talk about this once before, where we're allowing them to have an extra bedroom, which makes it more than it should be, based on the size of the lot?
We
Should
allow,
only have 2.
we allow all homes, especially if they're in a Zone 2 and they have the right amount of land, we're allowing a third bedroom.
Yeah,
If they have more than
Didn't we talk
10,000.
about the size of the lot?
Right. If
many
they have more than 10,000 square feet, in this case, because it's in a Zone 2, they have to be able to meet the requirements of Title V, which are a little bit more, even more restrictive, and they do. So we changed our reg, Ron, so that we would
Well, I know
allow
that,
third
but I
bedroom.
just saw it a couple of meetings ago, we talked about this.
This does not tie in with the prohibition on seasonal renting, and are we into that phase of the regulation also here?
I mean, the board could put that as a condition, but this is allowed under Title V. But you could put that as a condition and not allow,
I'm still fuzzy about that whole thing we did in terms of,
So-
when it applies, when it doesn't apply, and, I don't want to
it's,
be
it's,
arbitrary with it.
basically, we said if any, because first, as Ron was saying, we weren't allowing a third bedroom if they didn't have 30,000 square feet of lot area. So what we did to satisfy some concerns in town was say that if they had more than 10,000 square feet of land, we would allow a third bedroom, and the board could condition it that they would not be allowed to use the property for short-term rentals. So you certainly can do that here, if that's what you'd like to do.
So if the lot's over 20,000 square feet, they're allowed 2 bedrooms by right.
with the
Right.
standard
And so
system.
we're adding 1 extra bedroom going from Title V to IA technology. That's,
Right,
and I think that is,
going from 2 to 3 with,
that's pretty standard now for us.
Well,
the short-term rental is something that you have the option to put as a condition for approval on these.
Well,
I think it was the lots between 10 and 20,000, which at one point we said they couldn't do it, couldn't get the extra bedroom, but then we modified that. You can get it, but we added the short-term rental restriction on that group, as I understand it.
Okay.
No, we did
10 and 20, is that correct, Judy? Is there-
Yes,
Yeah, so this
Yes.
lot is
This
over
is
20.
separate, this is
So
different.
this is different, that's my understanding.
I would agree, but that's how I read the regulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
that-
think this, to me, is
Not subject to
pretty
that.
straightforward, and we wouldn't be putting the short-term rental restriction. That would be a lot under 20,000 that had 2 bedrooms, and they were adding a third, and then we would put that restriction, so. But other questions or comments? John?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Is the home owner occupied?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're there.
It currently is, it's for sale, and so, and I think it's under agreement. So I don't know what the new owner intends to do.
This is like 3 doors down from my house.
Right.
And it's right there. I walked down today to look at it. Didn't have to drive. It's a fairly new house. I mean, the house is brand new, just about.
Did I, can't. I'm just looking for the, oh, here, it is. Okay, yeah. Right, and then the house itself, the bedrooms are pretty clear cut, and this is the one where they're converting a sitting area. You're actually putting in a wall and a door to convert
Right.
into a private area.
It was designed with the 5-foot cased opening so that it would not be considered the third bedroom. And now
Right.
for marketing purposes, they're
Right, right. Okay, and that seems
closing it
pretty,
in to be a legitimate third bedroom.
that seems pretty straightforward. So, I guess, is there any input from the public? Yeah.
Could you come up to the microphone, please? Well, it's for the audience.
Up, well,
I don't know if that one's
Right
on.
here.
usually up there, yeah.
You put the button on.
Hi, I'm Steve Russo. I live at 33 Waiting Place Path, so it's right behind this house. And I just have a simple question. What kind of construction goes on here? It looks like they must have cleared most of the lot already. They just built the house a couple of years back. But are they going to clear any more? I don't know if there's any more land to clear. What's involved here? Is it a bigger footprint or what, this new system?
Have you seen the
I did not.
site plan?
I did not. Take a look.
Doesn't look like
So
it.
the
clearing area?
existing septic system is in the front yard, and the existing septic tank is simply going to be removed and a new tank put in the same place.
Right to the front.
Yep,
Okay.
and then we will be expanding the existing leaching system with, if you're looking on the site plan, there's a little L leg that kind of extends to the south. So all the work is going to take place in the front yard.
Okay, that's fine. It's a beautiful house. Thank you. That's
Okay.
fine. I have no issue.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? And then if not, can I get a motion? It seems pretty straightforward to me.
I'll make a motion that we approve the application for the addition of the secondary treatment unit per the application.
Okay, and then a second?
I'll second it.
Ron will second. Okay, and then we'll take a voice, we'll take a vote.
Want me to read the?
Oh, yeah, read the conditions, please.
I'm just looking to see if there was anyone online. I don't see anyone.
Any other input from the public?
I don't see any.
Okay.
The standard conditions would be the applicant shall restrict the property to a maximum of 3 bedrooms and record the restriction on the deed. And they shall sign a covenant and deed restriction with the board agreeing to comply at such time as the town of Chatham through its Board of Health and/or Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners directs the connection of this property to the municipal sewer. The covenant and deed restriction shall be recorded at the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Throughout the life of the system, it shall be under an operation and maintenance agreement. Approval of this system and O&M agreement shall be in accordance with the Department of Environmental Protection biomicrobic certification for general use, approved December 29th, 2010, revised March 20th, 2015. Total nitrogen shall be monitored and a performance standard of 19 milligrams per liter is required to be met. Effluent shall be tested quarterly for the first 2 years and twice per year thereafter. Approval by the Board of Health, with approval by the Board of Health. The applicant agrees to apply a minimum of 6 inches of compacted topsoil to all landscaped areas. The engineer shall submit an engineered as-built plan, including as-built elevations with a written certification that the system has been installed in accordance with the approved plan. No alteration to the floor plan of the dwelling or the engineered site plan will be allowed without further review by the board or its agent, and the variance is granted pursuant to the State Environmental Code and the Town of Chatham subsurface sewage regulations and nitrogen loading regulations, and is valid for 1 year from the date of the Board of Health approval. A permit must be issued and work commenced during that 1-year period.
Okay.
I have
Yes.
one comment. The requirement to apply 6 inches of topsoil over all landscaped areas. I know, like, if this was a new house.
It should say disturbed areas.
Okay, as long as
Yes.
that's, the area
Yes, I can change
disturbed by
that
the
wording.
septic installation.
We actually did change that wording to disturbed areas.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we can take a roll call vote for approval or not. And as I call your name, Carol Boyce,
Yes.
John Beckley,
Yes.
Ron Broman,
Yes.
and Noble Hanson, yes. So that variance is approved for 30 Oquasit Way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so old business, I just mentioned that in the fall, probably in October, we will set up a short-term regulation progress report by Karen, how'd you say her last name? Karen, by the person that's taking care of it. Shimwaza, to give us a comprehensive report on what's happened over the summer with the short-term regulation that's in place. And then Judy knows about the community health project, and there's going to be a report on that. Can you fill us in on that?
We had a presentation of the draft report. I'm sorry. We had a presentation of the draft community health needs assessment, and that will be finalized in the next week or so. So what I'd like to do is have the report presented to you. I think you probably have a fairly good idea about what the findings are going to show. But a lot of your concerns and questions are in there. So I'd like to have perhaps Katie from the county come and present that. And then we also have discussed a couple times about having some of the services that are available in town, that people come and present and tell us, what they do and how people can.
Yeah, and so when would the health report be presented to the committee approximately? October?
No.
The community health?
Oh, no, it's it's done.
When do you think that would?
I mean, we can probably do that for the board in early September.
Okay, early September, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had mentioned having a forum on community services, because when we talked about community health, a lot of it was community services. We had tried to get someone from the Council of Aging. Leah Lacrosse is the
Community Services
Community
Director.
Services Director, who would present the town services, and probably somebody from the fishing community that would address those issues that were brought up.
Yep.
And that could follow the report, and that would be a good timing, I think.
Yep.
So anybody else have old business or a comment or a new business, something to bring up?
I think we talked about the floor at the transfer station.
Yep.
You're going to bring that up.
Yeah, that's a letter was, a complaint was delivered to us about the odor from the
Yes.
transfer station. And Judy, is there any update on that?
I need to touch base with Rob again. He said that they are trying to clean that pressure wash every couple of weeks, but it's
I'm
just,
there at least once, twice a week, and
he says the floor has deteriorated and there's puddling and issues with the floor. Unfortunately, they were turned down for their money to update the transfer station, so.
But I think the plan was, to Ron's question, Judy needs to get some more information from Mr. Faley about this issue, and then we're going to have to decide how we address it, because it may be something that we have to bring up or help
I think
support
he is,
somehow, or
yeah.
make some kind of a determination or something. So it's an open issue, and it's, I agree
know,
with Ron,
It's an important issue, and he's looking for support from the Board of Health to address the
I
concerns.
remember this coming up every single August.
Yep,
Every August this comes up, and it's a function of the fact that we have the most people in town, the most tonnage being disposed of during the hottest weeks of the year, with the highest humidity of the year, and it's just a converging of regular factors that cause us to we wring our hands and we say something needs to happen better, and then we get a commitment that somebody's going to try and do that genuinely.
I mean, I believe that they are, but again, the floor and the building is so deteriorated that there's no drainage in there, so even when they spray it down, it's almost impossible to get it.
I mean, if that is the conclusion,
Yeah.
then we need to recognize that
Right, and I think that Rob would like maybe the Board of Health to support his request for whatever he needs to do to get that building fixed, funding, rebuilding the building, or the rebuilding of the transfer station.
Should we have a Board of Health meeting there? Do we want to meet as a board? And does that make any sense to us?
Where?
At the transfer station, as
well, I
the
think-
Board of Health, or
Yeah.
a subcommittee of the board could meet and actually see firsthand, what is it?
Yeah, well, I think the sequence
He
would,
can certainly do that. He'd give us a tour and show us what the
This is the-
concerns are.
but I think first maybe Mr. Faley could come back and fill us in exactly on this issue, where things are, with the idea of what does he need from us, what can we do, and then set up an inspection, either the board or a non-quorum group, and then think about what we can do to
As an
push some resolution to this for Mr. Faley and the town. But I think that would be the sequence.
Okay, well, let me put it on an agenda for one of our next upcoming meetings,
And
and
would
we can
Mr.
discuss.
Faley coming here? would
Yeah,
be
I'll ask him
appropriate?
to,
Yeah.
he can,
I think so, because we can ask him all these questions, and then he can have a chance to put all his thoughts together.
Didn't a few years ago, we had him in front of us here for the same issue?
Yes.
we've had Tom, yeah, but I think it's gotten worse. I mean,
Oh, it
it's
is, I
just,
mean, it's this thick some.
But it's now, it's
Yeah.
sludge. And then it's his issue of manpower, how often can he clean it? I'm sure that's what he's going to say, but we need to hear all that from him. Is he doing the best? Is there more they can do? Whatever. So that'll be the sequence. That's an important issue that's out there, I think. But John, I agree with what you said.
Yes.
The one thing I noticed this last year and this year, we used to have people come in and complain about the smell of it up there. Do you remember that?
well, that's
That's
what,
the current complaint.
I mean,
That's
we
the
had
current
them come in
complaint.
front of us.
From a neighbor.
the same neighbor who, you know,
Is it the same?
And for
one?
good cause.
and he's very patient, and he understands the issues, but
Oh, he wrote a very
it gets to a,
reasonable letter,
yeah.
and Mr. Faley recognizes it's a problem, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll get him to talk. So, okay, that's
Okay,
good.
good.
All right, any other issue or from someone? Okay, then we can,
Do we need to discuss at all the August 1st letter that was sent out by Judy regarding the short-term rental at 99 Main Street?
We,
maybe Judy, just fill us in.
we, they have cleaned up the website. They've taken down all the descriptions of the property as more than 4 bedrooms, although there is still pictures of the pool house with a bed in it. I did request that they set up an inspection, so I haven't heard from them, but Karen has been in touch with the Realtor, and they did clean the website up. So right now, it's listed only as a 4-bedroom with no extra sleeping areas. 4 bedroom sleeps 10, which is what it should be.
Not to exceed,
And
right?
their short-term rental registration has that been updated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was updated, but they hadn't updated the website too much, and I went through and looked at it when Dick was showing me it, and I found, and then I reviewed the building file and our file. That pool house the property was deed restricted with the understanding that the pool house was not going to be a bedroom. It was supposed to be a seasonal pool house only with no sleeping. And we can see what, it's a beautiful suite there now.
But I think it's an important aspect that, and Judy maybe can speak to this, but that the health department does look at the website advertising to see if it jives with what they have
I
on.
mean, we
record.
try to.
That's a part of what they do
Yeah.
when, addressing a complaint. And I think Dick Edwards brought it up at
He keeps it-
just
he
the house
watches
the
it,
last
yeah.
meeting or the meeting before.
Yep.
Yes.
So this is the second letter they've
So
gotten.
this is, shows the short-term rental regulation in process.
Yep.
John, you have a look like, you have a question,
I have a question
comment?
that, and Dick has alluded to this in the past. On the one hand, you have a property owner managing their property for rentals, in which case they are bound by not offering sleeping, not advertising more beds than or allowed by the agreement. At the same time, that homeowner, after the summer, if they wanted to have 20 people come in from around the country and come to their home and have an extended family gathering, there's no law that says they couldn't do that.
No.
And so then you get into this tension between, well, we like to have a big family reunion every October with 20 people, so we need beds to sleep 20 people for that special time of the year. At the same time, during the summer, when a home is being rented, they're restricted on how many beds they can have because that defines how many guests they can support. So how does that get reconciled in some?
I mean, I think they need to, and they're renting this property out for many, many weeks a year, and I think it needs to meet the requirements of the Board of Health regulation, and if they have to, I mean, one of the rooms wasn't even supposed to be a bedroom in the main house. They still showing, they had 5 bedrooms in the main house.
Right.
When the septic was built, it was showed as a den family room, and so that room should not have a bed in it. I
They
mean,
really have 2 illegal bedrooms.
they do, yes.
So can we compel them, because they are rentals, to modify the appearance and the furnishing of the home to remove those?
Certainly can try.
I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm coming from. At
Yeah.
some point, you can't be doing.
Doesn't mean they can't have a pull-out couch or, but I think,
But they need to comply to the number of legal bedrooms
Right,
by
and-
Title V.
Right.
By the nitrogen loading regulation.
Right.
I mean, when this was put in, we didn't have that rule with, it was just a quick sketch that they gave us, and we allowed a 4-bedroom house. The pool house was built after the fact,
Okay,
so,
yep,
yeah.
you can see that. Okay,
But our rules, short-term rental regulations, address that group of private property owners who made the decision to turn their home into a business.
correct,
And so there are tougher rules
for them.
that we have given to them based on that. And to
Right.
me, that's reasonable. And,
And
but
so,
getting into private residences and occupancy
That's-
limits and parking, that, we haven't got into that. We've just
Yeah.
taken
And we
those
can't.
owners who have converted, made their properties into a business.
and those business operations are, the scope of those business operations are defined and limited by the regulations we proposed,
Short-term
what
rental,
we've promulgated.
Yes.
So they cannot enter into a contract for rental with members of the public to rent that property to more than 10 people. I don't care how many beds they have, they can't do it legally.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, but somebody who is not a short-term rental, that home still has to comply with the number of bedrooms based on their septic system.
Septic system, right. And those
If
come
it's-
up,
if it's a
those come up all the
four-bedroom
time
septic
when they go
system,
to sell
They
them.
don't often get inspected, you don't know about them perhaps, but
Right.
they still
Right, what happens when they,
technically
yeah.
need to comply. And if it comes up in a complaint, so Judy has, like perhaps this property, then that would be corrected.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Okay, and then minutes, we have the minutes of our July 15th meeting. Does anyone have an addition or correction?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of July 15th,
Second.
2024.
We can take a second. Yeah, Ron, a second. We can take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so those are approved. And then we have executive session minutes of the July 15th meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve those minutes.
Okay, in a second?
Second.
And we have a second. We'll take a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, those are approved as well. And then I can take a motion to adjourn the meeting
Also move?
in a second.
Second.
And we can take a voice vote, all approving of adjourning the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. We will turn off our mics, no discussion.